wanted to get the attention of his people um, uh, that were in exile, and yet the people were not interested in really following their God.
Yeah, they'd been given everything, but somehow it wasn't enough. Like a lot of us today, God blesses us, and we don't look to the blessings as enough. We don't look to Him as enough, and so we start turning to other things, thinking that they're enough, and they rob us of the blessings we have. And Jeremiah is an old man, right near the end of his life and ministry, when this young guy, this guy who's one of the exiles taken to Babylon, God starts speaking to him. It's like, you're the next prophet to speak. And so Ezekiel has the interesting task of talking to the people who are stuck in Babylon, the exiles. And so each of the three guys have a different message. All of them talk about judgment. All of them talk about hope for the people at that time. And all of them talk about future hope, which applies to people like me and you.
Daniel was part of one of those people that got deported, and he was probably in the court of Nebuchadnezzar at the time of Ezekiel. And Ezekiel's about 30 years old, and
he's a young guy.
Yeah, and before he was able to be a temple priest, he was deported and carried away to Babylon.
It's interesting. You said that Ezekiel had been training in the temple. And when he's deported, there still is a temple. And but as I'm sure you're going to talk about, while he is there, he gets a word from God that the temple has been destroyed, which is a blow, not only to the people, because that's the center of their life. It's much more than, say, Mile High Stadium were to get destroyed and we couldn't watch the Broncos. It was like if the entire nation, we don't have anything comparable, the center of the entire nation. And the place of blessing, because it's where God resided, is gone. And there's huge questions. First of all, they can't believe there's no temple when God gets that word. And probably for Ezekiel, he's like, how do I be a temple priest without a temple?
Yeah. So if you go back in Ezekiel 1, in 1:1, it says, in my 30th year, in the 4th month, on the 5th day, while I was among the exiles by the Kibar River, and just pause for a minute. Kibar River is really a canal. When the water was diverted from a river into this particular canal, and the heavens were opened up, and I saw visions of God. On the 5th of the month, it was the 5th year of the exile of King. Can you say that?
Jehoiakim.
The word of the Lord came to Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, by the Kibar River in the land of the Babylonians. There the hand of the Lord was on him. And so it's kind of bittersweet, because here he is hanging out with all these people that are very sad. They're probably terrified. They've been taken away from the temple, from Jerusalem, where they believe God resides. So they feel like they have been taken away from the Lord. And really, what they don't realize as a people is that they, by their own actions and by their own deeds, they were already vacant from the Lord. They had already removed themselves. Really,
like what's happening to them. What's happening to them physically is just sort of like the final jarring reality of what had been happening to them spiritually and emotionally already.
Exactly. And there's a Psalm 137, which let me read. By the rivers of Babylon, we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. There on the poplars, we hung our harps, for there our captors asked us for songs. Our tormentors demanded songs of joy. They said, sing us one of the songs of Zion. How can we sing the songs of the Lord while in a foreign land? And this is just a great description of the mood of the people. They are completely depleted of hope. It's a great tool of God to be able to sing songs to him while in captivity. And so if we just kind of put it to you and I, when we're under stress, when we're depressed, when we're in the middle of a huge battle, when we're on the shore of the river and we're thinking that nothing can be done, we can sing, we can worship God. And I'm just reminded of Paul and was it Silas that were they were in jail and they sang songs to God, and they felt great freedom. And so
singing for freedom while being captive. And when you read Psalm 137, there's sing us one of the songs of Zion. And of course, it's quite likely that they had already heard that the hill that Zion that the temple was built on was now rubble. So what a mocking thing. Hey, why don't you sing about Zion?
So they've got this vision, or he's got this vision that opens up. God comes to him, and you might ask right away, wait a minute, how can he have a vision of the presence of God in Babylon? Wasn't God back in the temple? And I think that was also a foreshadowing, or actually really it's a depiction that God is on the move, that he is not limited to a place. He's not limited to time. He's not limited to a country. He's not like you and me being Americans. He's not limited to our country. He's not limited even to our planet. He is, what's the word?
He's omnipresent. He's the God of the universe. But this was a foreign concept for them. I mean, everybody back then believed that gods had localities, and every god, the gods lived in those areas, and then the people had to conform to their local god. And the Jews believed that too, that he was the God of Israel, of their area, the God of their patriarchs. And so for God to show up outside of his land was kind of a shock.
So he can come to us and is with us, and he is concerned about his people. He is an on-hands God. He is there.